I've been putting off making this video for days now. The truth is it's because I'm really scared and embarrassed to share this, which is why I've never talked about it before on my channel. What I want to do is take you to the deepest part of my struggle with food, with weight, with trying to lose weight, and share the truth about how my weight loss journey started. And that's by sharing the exact foods and portions that I actually ate. This is gonna expose me to a lot of judgment about that food and the portions that I ate. And I wasn't ready to share that yet because I already get a lot of judgment for what I eat when I share it. I'm just gonna be honest. I was afraid of sharing that because there's a lot of things that I'm starting to be ready to open up to that I've never felt comfortable talking about before. But that requires me coming out of hiding and getting more judgment. And it's a little bit scary, but it's important to share that. So I'm gonna sit here and share it with you because I know there's someone out there that's struggling just like I did, just like I do now, and might get some inspiration from this. Why I'm embarrassed to share this is because on social media and in public now, like you're supposed to go from 0 to 60, meaning you're supposed to go from being a mess to being perfect. And I have learned that this journey, it's not about being perfect. That's what got me in the mess in the first place. This is about being better than you were the day before. It's about letting the mess out, showing it, bringing it out into the open. This was not a clean journey. It might look to you when you see my full days of eating or like my progress that I've made now, it might look to you like it was easy or that it went smooth. This is not a smooth thing, especially because I struggled with emotional eating underneath. This was a mess. It's still a mess sometimes. I still have to call myself on things and really check myself. But I wanted to share this because I didn't just start portioning my food. That's not how it worked. I had nothing, no self-control. I couldn't stop eating. But these foods were the stepping stone to get me there. And I know people are gonna look at that and go, process, way too much. You can't lose weight doing that. I couldn't do that yet. I couldn't eat less yet. So that was getting me there. And before I get into it, I'm not a doctor, not a professional. This is just for entertainment purposes only. This is my journey, my struggle, and what worked for me. So don't listen to me and don't do what I do. I struggled with weight and emotional eating most of my life. And in the middle of it, I was in my teens, late teens and early 20s, and I knew I had a problem and I really wanted to try to figure out a way to lose weight. I had no self-control. I had a serious struggle with emotional eating that I could not stop. I had no discipline, no self-control. I couldn't stop eating. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was eating in secret. I was gaining so much weight because of it. I was using food to cope. And I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And I felt like I was trying to crawl out of the deepest, darkest hole with my hands tied behind my back. And I felt like I was never gonna see the light of day. Like I was never gonna get out of that. And I'm gonna share some foods that I started to allow myself to eat, to explore, that became stepping stones that gave me the traction to start inching my way out of the hole. And eventually, it led me to portion control, which helped me lose 130 pounds, work through my emotional eating, and I've kept the weight off for 9 years. But to get there, I had to fail a lot and struggle a lot. And so what I did was, my eating was out of control. Before I was ready to look at nutrition, at increasing my protein, at tracking my food, portioning it out, even eating a tiny bit less, I had to find something that was a better choice than what I was already doing. I was eating thousands of calories a day and a lot of it in secret. So I wanted to find some things that I felt comfortable eating that were better than the day before, better than what I was already doing, that would help me start climbing that mountain out of where I was. When I started this, I was going to the grocery store and I was getting 2 to 3 pints of Haagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry's, and I was eating all of that in a very quick amount of time, and I would make myself almost like sick because of how full, like I was stuffing myself and I wasn't hungry. And I knew like I couldn't just stop doing that, so I had to find like a bridge. So I started going to the store and looking at like the kids' ice cream section, and the kids' ice cream bars seemed to be like lower calorie. I wasn't ready to like count calories, but I was ready to look at labels. And I noticed that the kids' fudge bars, like, just low-cal fudge bars for kids, I noticed the kids' fudge bars were lower calorie. So I thought, well, what if I buy those? Then I still get ice cream. And, I'm not like totally denying myself, but because they were in individual packages and I had to unwrap them, I thought maybe it would help me. I had to do more work to get them open than just opening up a pint of ice cream and eating. I thought maybe that would help me, because it was more work, it would buy me some time to think about what I was doing so that I wouldn't eat so many. And I'm gonna be honest, like when I bought the fudge bars, and I was only gonna tell you a little part of this because I didn't want you to judge me, but I'm bearing all here. Sometimes I ate the entire box and I had to go out and buy another one. I couldn't sometimes just eat 2 or 3. But my goal was, this is better than what I was doing. This is better than 2 to 3 pints of ice cream. This is a step in the right direction. And so I bought them and I would, try to eat a couple. Sometimes I could only eat half the box. Sometimes I would eat the whole thing. But it was getting me up the hill slowly out of the hole. It was a step again in the right direction. The next thing was chocolate. I would buy like a pack of 4 chocolate bars and I would eat them all in one sitting. And then, I'd go buy like a bag of the mini ones and I would eat the entire bag in a sitting. And I thought, okay, again, I can't get rid of the chocolate. How do I bridge it? And so I found Hershey's Kisses were great because you got a lot in a bag and they're individually wrapped, which again, whenever I bought things that were individually wrapped, I had to do more work. So it kind of just bought me that time I needed to think about not eating so many. And so I would give myself a handful a day. And I looked forward to it. And it was like, wow, I'm actually letting myself have chocolate and I'm not eating entire bags. Now, did sometimes I go back for 2 handfuls? Yeah. And again, this is not about being perfect. This is about stepping stones. And as you hear me talk about mine, maybe you can think about, what are yours if you're struggling? Is there a stepping stone? Instead of working on being perfect, can you choose one food that's just a little bit better than where you were at the day before? This is about just 1 inch at a time getting out of the hole. You can't go from the bottom of a deep hole all the way to the top in an instant. We don't have wings. We can't do that. We need to do it step by step. So what are your stepping stones? Next, I started buying honey bunches of oats because I seen it everywhere. It was like really popular at the time. And I thought, oh wow, I'd really like this. So I would buy a family size box of it. I needed something to snack on at night. What I was doing at night before that was I was driving out to fast food restaurants and I would drive to 4 different ones because I didn't want to get everything at one restaurant because I was afraid that I would get judgment for eating so much. So I would buy 1 to 2 combos at each of the 4 restaurants, and then I would go in secret and I would eat it all. I started to eat the cereal instead. And instead of doing it in secret, I would do it watching a movie around like my family or my friends. And, my goal was to eat half the box because that was better than what I was doing before. And sometimes I ate the whole thing and I had to go out and buy another one, but half the box, even the whole box, I wasn't going out and secretly eating all those combos. There's nothing wrong with fast food or combos, but I was doing it in secret because I was embarrassed and guilty. And so I needed to replace that with a snack that I felt comfortable eating around people because I wasn't ready to not use food to cope yet. So that was my in the middle thing. Next, I really loved croissants and bread, and every time I tried to lose weight in the past, I would totally get rid of it, and it just caused me to eat more. So I started going and getting a box of croissants, and I let myself have one every day, and I would make kind of a fun thing out of it. I would cut it, I would put it in the toaster, I'd put some butter on it, I'd sit down and I'd really let myself enjoy it. And I couldn't believe that I was finally legalizing these butter croissants. I was letting myself have something that I had put off limits for so long. And I really enjoyed those moments that I let myself do that. And that was such a big thing. And I know I was dating Kyle at the time, and we went to the store together and we bought this, and I was so excited because it was I finally might be getting somewhere. I might be getting myself out of this mess that I got in and I didn't think I could get out of. This next one is a funny one. Pizza was another thing that I had taken away. So I started to let myself have it in the form of pita pizzas. I got the idea, funny enough, from this weird crash diet that I had done, and it let me eat pita pizza. So I started thinking, okay, I'll include pizza in the form of a pita. I make it at home. I was ready to let myself have the pizza, but what I put on it was broccoli and carrots and things that I really didn't want on the pizza. So it was kind of I was still sabotaging it a bit, but it was still the fact that I started to allow myself to have the pizza led to me eventually putting what I want on it. And now Kyle and I eat low-calorie pizza every night for dinner, and we put pepperoni slices and ham and regular cheese on it and sauce, and we love it. But I couldn't be here if I didn't start there first with the carrots and the broccoli on the mini pizza. And if you're not ready to do much yet, but you would like some really cool low-cal, high-protein recipes, I have a guilt-free cookbook, which is low-cal versions of all your favorite food. It's called the Guilt-Free Cookbook. The link is down below. I've got a low-cal Big Mac in there, protein pizza, ice cream, cupcakes, really cool recipes that I tried to make taste very similar to the real thing. It helped with my cravings, helps me satisfy the cravings, but still go on my missions. The link is down below. Code Nicole will save you 10% off. And if you're looking for really good protein, this is HTLT Steps. Right now, Kyle and I are cutting. We're trying to lose body fat and get really good shape the best we can. And we've been craving chocolate peanut butter a lot. So this flavor, chocolate peanut butter, is one of our favorites right now. Code Nicole will save you 15% off, and the link is down below. And the next thing that I started doing was single serving treats, like little Hostess cupcakes or Twinkies or mini Reese's, little packages of nuts. I went out and bought a bunch, and I labeled them in a bag for every day of the week so that I would have some treats. The goal and the idea was to stop denying and restricting myself those things, but also I needed them to be single serving because I would just keep eating. So the single serving helped me have the best of both worlds. I could have some treats, but when the package was done, it helped me not keep reaching for things. And I allowed myself some every day. I built it into my meal plan so that I was getting rid of the faux pas around it, you're not allowed to have this. I was legalizing it, making it part of my normal life so that I could do this forever for good. That it wasn't bad to have treats. There's a time and a place for them, and I didn't need to eat all of it to numb myself, but I could still enjoy some. And the last one that really helped me was, like I talked about fast food before, I was eating out for lunch every single day at work. But I didn't just go to one fast food restaurant. Again, I would go to 2 or 3 and eat at 2 or 3 for lunch. And then I would go back to work, and then later I would go home and do more in secret. And I would always eat in my car and not eat with anyone at work because I didn't want them to see how much I was eating. So I decided making the fast food off limits was just going to make me want it more. So I started going to Wendy's every day for lunch, and they had, it doesn't look like they have it anymore, but at the time they had a cheddar and broccoli baked potato. Now they have a chili and cheese one that I would get in place of that. So I started getting that every day for lunch, and I would bring it to work and eat with people and socialize, and like, it felt so good to let myself eat fast food, not do it in secret. Start making it a part of life. Like, whoa, I can go to Wendy's and get one thing and really enjoy it and make it a part of my life and not make it off limits and feel like I need to be feeling guilty about it and eat it in, secret. It was so cool and such a stepping stone. And, now if I feel like I want fast food, I'll go build it into my meal plan. These things, they were messy and they weren't perfect. And I made a lot of mistakes. Sometimes I ate all of it. But every day I started again and I kept trying until eventually I made my way out of that deep, dark hole that I didn't think that I could, because I let myself do those experiments. I let myself get foods that were better than what I was doing before. And I didn't force myself to go from 0 to 60, to go from eating massive amounts of food to one single portion, because that's not sustainable if you're not used to that. And having emotional eating underneath, that was almost an impossible thing to do. So allowing myself to have in-betweens, again, they gave me the inches and the traction I needed to crawl out of that. So I hope this helps anybody struggling see that you don't have to be perfect. This is a messy journey. And even losing weight doesn't solve all your problems. Nothing's gonna be perfect. You will make mistakes. That is normal and part of the journey. So don't get mad at yourself and don't punish yourself. Just find a stepping stone that allows you to be even one little tiny bit better than the day before. I love you. Thank you for watching. Peace, cutie. I'll catch you in the next video.
Remember, the friends, that weight loss isn't just about the number on the scale. It's also about here and here. Heart and mindset. Fight through it. You can do it. Don't give up.